Well, welcome back to the action as we drop into what is probably one of the most technical and challenging obstacles on the day, Carl. I'm just having a look at the steep drop in, and it looks like there's some very, very tight little maneuverability issues that are going to challenge the guys in the longer wheelbase cars.
This is definitely one of the most technical obstacles, and as it will progress, you will see that the shorter vehicles will negotiate this easier, where the longer vehicles will battle to go through there.
I guess that's also what is so cool about when you put a course like this together, because you've got to look at all the cars, the varieties, their abilities, and go, okay, so that course, that obstacle is going to really suit the long wheelbase. This one's going to suit the short wheelbase. So at the end of the day, you've got an event that is catering and challenging all the cars that are there on the day. And of course, like we mentioned earlier, the weather conditions are that really helping the guys come to terms with that. Right now, you wish you were in an air-conditioned production car with your windows closed.
Yeah, I just hope Bram keeps his window clean here.
we saw that earlier with guys, breaking parts, and it's just in the mud with their Meccano sets, getting things fixed. I mean, that is one thing that you're getting a good taste of here is the landscape, the environment, the dust and the mud. I mean, this is what you love.
I tell you what, if your mind is set on driving, so if something goes wrong, you just put it together. You'll clean it tomorrow at home, but now it must just work.
Now it's got to work. But like this, I mean, you spoke about the short wheelbases, so obviously very, very maneuverable. But has he got diff locks on this?
Not at all.
Yeah, so that's going to be a challenge for him.
Yeah, but you see, being a shorter vehicle, smaller vehicle, you can maneuver it better.
Yeah. Carl, there's one thing that you and I haven't sat and spoken about. I'm a 4x4 rookie, but one thing I've always learned is about tire pressures and how important that is. And you see a lot of the guys, obviously, deflating tires helps with widening the footprint and obviously giving you better traction. Are the guys able to adjust tire pressures from obstacle to obstacle?
Yes, you can do that. Tire pressure is absolutely crucial.
Oh, check it out there. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so, no, it's very, very important to have the proper tire pressure. If you want a good footprint, straight climb, you go very soft. On a slope, you don't go that soft, especially
roll it off the rim.
Especially the bottom tires. But yes, you can change your tire pressure. This buggy also got a Lexus V18. I know this buggy well.
Did you build this one?
Yes, it's also one of my creations.
But it looks like a handful. I mean, that airtime that he's getting through the top there, you must be so busy behind the wheel.
I tell you what, dis flink dink. Daar's nie ander woord nie. It's unbelievable how quickly things happen in those buggies.
Yeah. And you were saying to me when we were chatting earlier about like the drive there is off the rear wheels. You're actually using the handbrake.
Well, most of the time the front wheels are up in the air, so you steer it with a fiddle brake.
Jeez, like that's proper skills. Nice to see LA Sport. It was on that buggy as well, and I see it on one of our production vehicles. I mean, these are guys that they helped me out on one of my off-road adventures, and they always do support these events. So the boys are superb at getting involved in everything that's off-road.
Yeah, they always come on board with us, and a lot of the vehicles that take part today does have some of their products on or in or whatever you want to call it, and they always look after us, and they're also part of the fun all the time.
But what's cool is, I mean, their brand lives. When you go to events like this, they really are. It's not about, well, there's a nice cool product. Their product gets used. It gets put to the test.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you don't get a better environment to showcase what you guys do or sell than an environment like this. Carl, we've seen a lot of standard production double cabs. There ain't anything standard about this bucky.
No, this is a Hilux, old school Hilux, properly modified, and it's a B class, shortened at the back, front axle moved slightly forward, Ford V6, and also a very capable bucky.
Well, I suppose it's quite interesting because that's what I was looking at. That's the first thing I noticed was they've really chopped the rear of it, but it's again about getting the balance right and the weight distribution.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they shorten the rear a bit, then your overhang is much shorter, so you can get into much tighter spots.
Oh, very, very cool. And in the action now is a very experienced competitor from George, Etienne Jacobs, really showing the fans and the competitors how it's done in his Class A production vehicle. Well, from the really compact and capable vehicles we've just seen into a bog standard, very, very long double cab bucket. I mean, these things are nearly 5 meters long now, Carl, and you spoke earlier about how challenging this obstacle is. You'll see all the articulation here and how carefully they've got to maneuver and get that balance right, because at the end of the day, this is going to be scuffing bumpers. It's going to end up on the sides. A real challenge. Have a look at that. There's nowhere to go here.
Yeah, that's limited space, and you will see now that the longer buck is definitely battle in such tight, tricky situation.
But what a cool showcase for just what you can do with a standard bucket. I mean, look at that wheel lift that he got, obviously working on forward, reverse, trying to get through here, but this is obviously a tricky bit, and we speak about departure angles and approach angles, and obviously with a stock standard bumper, it'd be nice to have an aftermarket one here, which will give you a little bit more clearance. That's a very second-hand fog lamp and bumper, but I think JSC will be so stoked in Tavcor with the exposure that they've got through taking on this really, really technical course.
Well, definitely it's very well done by Marcus here. He's very experienced, and to take that bucky through there, it's an awesome job.
You spoke about these earlier. Like if guys want to get into having fun and experiencing proper 4x4s, this is probably such a good benchmark, because you literally could probably carry this home as a backpack.
Yeah, if you cannot go through the obstacle in the car, you put the car in your pocket and you walk through. But this is Cindy, one of our female drivers, and she loves this vehicle. She does very well with it, and a lot of the time people underestimate these little vehicles.
I can tell you, because I mean Cindy Warrington doing a great job here. I've arrived at a couple of obstacles at Bruckadena where the guys are there in their $1.5 million vehicles, and I came along in the new little Jimny with nothing, and the things they couldn't get up we absolutely smashed. So super capable, and again it's about weight. That's what people also don't realize. You know, you've got to maneuver all of that weight. So I know for you in your top truck you can strip everything out, but in a stock standard production vehicle that's always going to be a challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to get rid of unnecessary weight.
Yeah, well, have a bit of landscaping going on there as well. Do you pay him extra for remodeling the course?
Anton decided he's not going to take a rollback. He'll rather move the ground there for us.
That's called moving the goalpost. Whoever came behind him is going to be really thankful and happy about that, because they're going to make that obstacle a hang of a lot cheaper. This is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, this is why we call this obstacle the gap jump. There's one of two methods here. You can either go slow or you can jump.
Oh wow, that is so cool. But I can see the trick here, because have a look, landed on one of the beacons, one of the markers there. That is the tricky thing, because your launch, you've got to now control where you're going to land.
Yeah, overdid it a bit, and it cost me 20 points there.
Yeah. Would you have gone with a different approach, or do you think that is still the best way to get through here?
It's still the best way. We should have just went slightly to the right, because the obstacle throws you to the left. You can see Andres behind me also hit that peg.
There's a bit of a crazy obstacle here as well. I mean, end of a long day, the guys must be pretty tired, and then you make them try and make their way through tires. This is different.
I tell you what, the tire obstacle is an unbelievable sensation. If you ever did it, the way the vehicle floats,
It's like being at sea.
it's unbelievable, especially when it's a nice deep obstacle. The big secret here is you have to keep momentum, because as long as a vehicle bounces up and down, you can clear the tires out underneath.
No, you can
But
bite.
once
You
you're
can get traction and bite again and
Yes,
go.
but once you're stuck, you're properly stuck.
I wanted to ask you now. There's some guys getting properly stuck. I don't imagine too many people manage this. How do you get the guys out here?
Now we put them out with a recovery vehicle.
Nein,